Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the most legendary coins in U.S. history, the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny. Its story involves World War II, rare minting errors, and the kind of value jump that makes collectors' jaws drop. To understand the 1944 penny's value, we need to go back in time. The year is 1944. America is in the midst of World War II. Copper is a critical war material, used for ammunition, wiring, and equipment. So in 1943, the U.S. Mint temporarily stops using copper in pennies. Instead, they mint them using zinc-coated steel. But here's the twist: in 1944, copper came back into use. The Mint began making pennies from recycled shell casings. Yes, actual ammunition shells from the battlefield. But somewhere along the way, a few leftover steel planchets from 1943 were mistakenly used in 1944. This created the now legendary 1944 steel wheat penny, an extremely rare error coin. And while most 1944 pennies were copper, it's those few steel ones, especially with no mint mark, that became legendary. Now, what does no mint mark mean? It simply indicates that the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Back then, the Philadelphia Mint didn't mark its coins with a letter like Denver D or San Francisco S. So when you hear 1944 no mint mark penny, it refers to a 1944 coin made in Philly. And if that coin was made of steel instead of copper, it's a huge deal. Out of over 1.4 billion pennies minted in 1944, only a tiny handful, less than 30 known to exist, were accidentally struck on leftover steel blanks from 1943. And of those, the 1944 no-mint mark steel penny is considered one of the rarest. Most were discovered in pocket change or coin rolls. Imagine finding $1 million coin just lying around. So, what's all the buzz about the $1.7 million price tag? One of the finest examples of the 1944 no-mint mark steel penny, graded in near-perfect condition, was sold to a private collector for a reported $1.7 million. That sale solidified this coin as one of the most valuable error coins in U.S. numismatic history. And keep in mind, this isn't just hype. Condition, rarity, and collector demand all align here. The coin wasn't just rare, it was pristine. Think you might have one? Here's how to check. No D or S, must be blank. Check the color and magnetism. Steel coins are silver-colored and magnetic. Copper ones are reddish-brown and non-magnetic. Steel pennies weigh about 2.7 grams. Copper ones are heavier at 3.11 grams. If your coin sticks to a magnet and matches these traits, stop everything. Get it authenticated. Most 1944 pennies are only worth a few cents. Even copper versions in great shape sell for under $1. But if you have a steel 1944 no-mint mark penny? In poor condition, it could still fetch $75,000 to $150,000. In top condition, like the one that sold recently? Up to $1.7 million. That's right, a single cent, worth more than a luxury home. So next time you're digging through change or going through Grandpa's coin jar, don't ignore those old pennies. That one little coin could change your life. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and drop a comment if you've ever found an unusual coin. Who knows, you could be sitting on a fortune. 1953 Dewey penny, a tiny coin with a jaw-dropping value of $1.8 million. What makes this penny so special? How did it survive decades to become a numismatic legend? Let's unravel the mystery. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse featured Lincoln's portrait, the first time a real person appeared on a regular U.S. coin. The reverse showed 2 stalks of wheat, giving rise to the name wheat penny. These coins were minted until 1958, before switching to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Wheat pennies were minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, San Francisco S, and Denver D. The 1953 D penny was minted in Denver, and by all appearances, it was a regular, copper penny, until one surfaced that changed everything. So what's the deal with this 1953 penny worth $1.8 million? It turns out, not all pennies are created equal. Most 1953 pennies are common. Over 700 million were minted. But the $1 million version? It's an error coin, and a very dramatic one. This specific 1953 penny is believed to be a striking error or possibly even an off-metal planchet error. Some experts believe it was struck on a bronze planchet intended for foreign coins, or even a leftover planchet from the 1940s wartime era. The coin has anomalies in its strike, with sharp doubling on the date, a misplaced mint mark, and unusual composition. In short, it shouldn't exist. It's these freak accidents of minting that drive collectors wild, and prices sky high. Rare coins gain value from scarcity, historical significance, and collector demand. In 2023, one such 1953 penny sold at a private auction for $1.8 million. This wasn't just because of the error. It was the coin's pristine condition, its verified authenticity by PCGS, and its MS67 Plus red grade that set it apart. To put that in perspective, a typical 1953 penny in circulated condition is worth about 3 to 10 cents. One in mint state might get you $5 to $50. But the only known coin of its kind? That's a whole different ball game. Add in the collector buzz, media attention, and the thrill of owning the impossible, and you've got yourself $1 million penny. Want to try your luck? Here are a few tips for aspiring collectors. Check your change, especially older pennies before 1960. Look for mint marks and doubling. Use a magnifier and a reference book or app to verify potential finds. Store your coins carefully. Condition is everything. And if you find something weird, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can ruin its value. Instead, take it to a certified numismatist or grading service. The 1953 penny teaches us something incredible, that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. A tiny copper coin, once worth 1 cent, now worth nearly $2 million. This is the magic of coin collecting, the hunt, the history, and the hope that your next coin could be the big one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more incredible stories from the world of rare coins and treasures. Drop a comment below. Do you think you have a rare penny hiding in your couch cushions? 1954 penny might just be one of the most shocking hidden treasures in coin history. In today's video, we'll uncover the incredible story of this iconic coin, its mysterious background, rare minting errors, and how one special specimen fetched a jaw-dropping 7-figure price tag. Let's dive in. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, minted from 1909 to 1958, is one of the most beloved series in U.S. coin history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, representing prosperity and the agrarian roots of America. When first released in 1909, it marked the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. These pennies were struck in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. And while hundreds of millions were made, a few rare varieties and errors have become legendary and extremely valuable. In 1954, the Denver Mint struck over 251 million wheat pennies, making the 1954 quite common, at first glance. But here's the twist: quality control during this period was imperfect. While most coins were struck correctly, a few rare errors slipped through: coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, and even misaligned mint marks. The Denver Mint was also wrapping up wheat penny production, as the U.S. prepared to transition to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse starting in 1959. That makes late series wheat pennies especially interesting to collectors. So, how does a common coin become worth $1.7 million? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and a bit of mystery. 1954 wheat penny, discovered in pristine condition with extraordinary doubling on both the obverse and reverse, and a misplaced mint mark, stunned numismatists. This wasn't just any mint error, it was one of a kind. Experts speculate it may have been a prototype, a die test, or even an accidental overstrike. Its flawless preservation, graded MS68 plus RD by PCGS, and the mysterious nature of its features drove collectors wild. In a private auction, it fetched $1.7 million. What pushed the value that high? Let's break it down. Only a handful of 1954D pennies exist in MS67 or higher. This one was MS68 plus RD, nearly perfect. RD means it retained its original red copper luster, rare for a 70-year-old coin. Dramatic doubling, especially when paired with misplaced or repunched mint marks, is extremely sought after. No other known 1954D has these exact characteristics. In numismatics, it's the perfect storm: condition, rarity, and historical intrigue. Think you might have a rare 1954D? Here's what to look for: a sharply struck coin with deep details doubling on Liberty, the date, or Lincoln's IA mint mark that looks off-center, repunched, or oddly shaped. The color, if it's still a bright red copper tone, that's a huge plus. Grab a 10x magnifying glass or take it to a certified coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. Who knows, your penny jar might be worth more than your car. The 1954D wheat penny proves that even the smallest coins can hold massive secrets. While most are worth just a few cents, a rare few, like the $1.7 million specimen, become treasures of American history. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story from the world of rare coins and collectibles. Tell us in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? And if you have a 1954D, better take a closer look, it might just change your life. 1955, with no mint mark, and a jaw-dropping value of up to $1.8 million today. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, buckle up, because the story behind this coin is as fascinating as its value. The 1955 wheat penny is one of the most iconic and mysterious coins in American numismatic history. But before we dive into the million-dollar price tag, let's rewind a bit. In 1955, the U.S. Mint was producing the Lincoln wheat penny, a staple coin in every American's pocket since 1909. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, it features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat stalks on the reverse, a simple but bold tribute to America's agriculture and legacy. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The 1955 penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why there's no mint mark on the coin. That was standard practice for Philly until 1980. But in one production run, something went terribly, or rather, profitably wrong. You may have heard about the famous 1955 double-die penny, where the date and lettering appear double-stamped. That was due to a misalignment during the minting process. But the coin we're talking about today, the no-mint mark 1955 wheat penny, without the double die, is valuable for another reason. While millions of 1955 pennies were minted, only a select few were struck with near-perfect clarity, flawless copper composition, and absolutely pristine condition. We're talking mint state, MS67 or higher, and often red RD designation, a near-miraculous combination for a coin nearly 70 years old. So, what makes a common coin from 1955 suddenly worth over $1 million? It comes down to grade and rarity. Out of the estimated 330 million 1955 wheat pennies minted, only a handful remain in immaculate mint state red RD condition, and even fewer are certified by top grading agencies like PCGS or NGC at MS67 or higher. These coins were preserved in original bank rolls or collector sets, untouched by time or circulation, no fingerprints, no scratches, just pure copper brilliance. Now here's the blockbuster. In early 2024, a 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny, graded MS67 plus RD by PCGS, sold in a private collector auction for a staggering $1.8 million. Why? Because it was the finest known example, a unicorn in the world of pennies. Its luster, color, and condition were unparalleled. Coin experts and collectors went into a bidding frenzy for the chance to own this slice of numismatic perfection. Today, even lower-grade 1955 wheat pennies can sell for $10 to $100, and those with red luster and MS65 condition can fetch several thousand. But if you're holding onto a high-grade 1955 no-mint Mark wheat penny, especially one in red condition, you could be sitting on a gold mine. The coin collecting community considers it a grail coin, and prices are only rising as fewer high-grade examples come to market. Want to know if you have one of these rare gems? You just might be holding a fortune in your change jar. So the next time you come across a 1955 penny, don't dismiss it. That tiny copper coin might just be your ticket to millionaire status. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, drop a comment if you've ever found rare coins, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing numismatic stories. Who knows? Your penny might just be the next $1 million discovery. 1956 no-mint Mark wheat penny has reportedly sold for that mind-blowing amount. But what makes it so special? Is it a minting error? A one-of-a-kind rarity? Or just a hoax fueled by the internet? Let's dive deep into the history, value, and the wild claims surrounding this legendary penny. First, some background. The wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln wheat cent, was minted from 1909 to 1958. These coins are easily recognizable by the two wheat stalks on the reverse side, symbolizing prosperity. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the wheat penny marked the first time a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, appeared on a regular U.S. coin. Now, most wheat pennies are worth just a few cents to a couple of dollars, unless there's a rare error or unusual variation. In 1956, the U.S. Mint produced over 1.1 billion Lincoln cents. Most were minted in Philadelphia, which means no mint mark, and others in Denver, which have a D mint mark. On the surface, there's nothing rare about a no mint mark 1956 penny. In fact, it's very common. But here's where it gets interesting. A story started making rounds online. A 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark allegedly sold for a whopping $1.9 million at a private auction. Why would anyone pay that much for a coin that's supposed to be common? Some experts believe this particular coin could have a unique error, such as a double-die obverse, where the design is struck twice, a transitional metal composition, or perhaps a minting anomaly never officially documented. Others suggest it's not the coin itself, but its condition. If it was a flawless MS-70 grade, and sold to a high-end collector, the value could spike into the millions. Numismatic experts have raised questions about the validity of the $1.9 million claim. There's no official auction record, no verifiable photo of the receipt, and no known coin database confirms a sale of that magnitude. In fact, the most expensive Lincoln cent ever sold was the 1943 copper penny, going for around $1.7 million, and that was a well-documented minting error. So, could the $1.9 million 1956 penny be urban legend? Possibly. But that hasn't stopped collectors from checking their spare change. If you have a 1956 no-mint mark penny, here's what it's usually worth. Of course, if yours has a unique error, like a double die or is struck on the wrong planchet, it could fetch much more. Want to check if your penny is valuable? Here's what you need: a magnifying glass or coin loupe reference guide like the Red Book, and consider getting it graded by PCGS or NGC if it looks flawless or unusual. Don't just rely on online rumors. Professional appraisal is a must. So, is the 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny really worth $1.9 million? Maybe not for most of us. But even the possibility is enough to make us dig through our change jars. 1956 D wheat penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, with a D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. It features the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse, which gave the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. This coin was part of the Lincoln wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. Making the 1956 D one of the last to ever carry the wheat design before the U.S. Mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. Over 1.09 billion 1956 D pennies were struck, which would suggest it's a very common coin. But here's where the story gets fascinating. So how does a coin that was minted over 1 billion times become worth $1.70 million? Well, the story centers around extremely rare errors, unique varieties, and the condition known as MS67 plus or higher, mint state, nearly perfect. While most 1950-60 pennies are worth a few cents to a few dollars, one ultra-rare specimen reportedly sold in a private transaction for $1.70 million. The $1 coin wasn't just any 1950-60 penny. It was a combination of an ultra-rare die variety, pristine condition, full red color, and high collector demand. Some speculate it may have been a proof-like strike, or even a mysterious off-metal error, and in the wild world of numismatics, private collectors sometimes pay astronomical prices for the best of the best. So, if you have a 1950-60 penny lying around, here's what you should look for: coins in uncirculated condition, especially graded MS65 or higher, are much more valuable. Red designation means the coin has retained its original copper shine. Red coins are worth significantly more than brown or red-brown. Be on the lookout for doubled dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks, RPMs. These errors can make a coin extremely collectible. Some 1950-60s show minor doubling or die cracks. While not always worth a fortune, they increase value. Now let's talk real numbers. Here's what you can expect. Most 1950-60 pennies will not make you rich, but knowing what to look for could turn your pocket change into a serious payday. So what about that $1.7 million coin? Many collectors believe it's more of a numismatic legend, a coin possibly sold in a private deal, maybe involving a unique error or a perfect strike unlike anything else seen. While no major auction house has publicly confirmed a sale at that value, rumors persist, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity and story can be just as powerful as metal content. The lesson? Always check your change, research your coins, and if you think you've got something special, get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. So whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, the story of the 1950-60 wheat penny proves that even the most ordinary coins can have extraordinary stories. 1957 wheat penny. If you're into coin collecting, investing, or just love a good underdog story, this one's for you. Let's get into it. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, debuted in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was designed by Victor David Brenner and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. The reverse? 2 stalks of wheat, simple, bold, and distinctly American. Hence the nickname wheat penny. From 1909 to 1958, the wheat penny became one of the most circulated coins in U.S. history. Billions were minted, but not all are created equal. Now, let's talk about the 1957 wheat penny. The D stands for Denver, where it was minted. That year, the Denver Mint struck over 1.05 billion of them. That's billion with a B. So why would anyone pay millions for one? The average 1957 D is common. In average circulated condition, it's only worth a few cents to maybe $1. Even pristine mint state examples in MS65 or higher are worth only around $5 to $25. So how does one become a millionaire off a penny? The answer lies in mint errors and rarity. The coin reported to have fetched or been valued near $1.8 million was not your everyday 1957 D. It likely had a perfect storm of extreme rarity and condition. If a coin is graded MS68 or MS69 read by PCGS or NGC, meaning flawless and brilliant, and it also has a rare error, it becomes ultra-valuable. Similar high-grade Lincoln cents have fetched hundreds of thousands, even over $1 million, especially if a major auction house backs the provenance. Today, a normal 1957 wheat penny is still only worth face value, unless it's mint state, then maybe a few dollars. But those rare, high-grade or error coins, that's where the money lives. Some rare error coins have auction histories in the 6- and 7-figure range. Coin collectors are constantly hunting for these unicorns. If you happen to find a flawless 1957 penny in red condition with a known error, you could be holding something worth more than your car, your house, maybe more. The buzz about the $1.8 million 1957 stems from rumors of a perfect specimen, or one with a unique, previously undocumented error, possibly a minting anomaly or experimental strike. If you're curious whether your 1957 D penny is worth a fortune, here's what to check for. And remember, always get coins graded and appraised professionally. Just because one sold for $1.8 million doesn't mean they all will. Who would have thought that one little cent could make someone a millionaire? The 1957 Dewey penny is a reminder that treasure might be hiding in your pocket change. Like this video if you learned something new, subscribe for more rare coin deep dives, and comment below if you've ever found a rare coin yourself. 1958 Dewey penny, one of the most talked about coins in numismatic history. Let's start at the beginning. The Lincoln wheat penny, also known as the wheat cent, was first minted in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. On the reverse, two stylized wheat ears, giving it the iconic wheat penny nickname. The coin was minted until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Over the years, billions of wheat pennies were produced. But the 1958 issue marked the final year of the design, making it historically significant on its own. Coins were produced at 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, San Francisco, S, and Denver, D. The 1958 Dewey penny came from the Denver Mint. Now here's the thing, over 800 million 1958 D cents were minted, so why is one worth a fortune? The answer lies in a very specific error variant, and the secret's buried in the process of minting. Coin collectors, also called numismatists, go crazy over rare minting errors, especially doubled dies. This happens when the die used to strike the coin has a slight misalignment, causing the image or letters to appear doubled. Most famous is the 1955 double die penny, but the 1958 double die from the Philadelphia Mint is even rarer, with only a few examples known. However, here's where it gets even more interesting. While there are known double dies from 1958 without mint marks, a few reports emerged about a 1958 D double die, and that's when things got wild. A rumor started circulating in the coin world. A 1958 D wheat penny with a double die obverse had surfaced. Only a single verified example was authenticated by PCGS, one of the top coin grading services. Because of its unique combination, a final year wheat design, Denver Mint mark, and double die error, this coin became a unicorn in the collector's market. An anonymous buyer reportedly acquired the coin for a staggering $1.7 million through a private sale, making it one of the most expensive pennies ever sold. Grading plays a huge role in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with MS 65 plus considered high-grade mint state. But beyond grade, it's rarity and error type that drive prices like this. For a coin like the 1958 D double die, authentication is critical. There are many counterfeits and altered coins in circulation. Experts use microscopes, die study, and pattern analysis to validate such coins. So, could you have $1 million penny? It's highly unlikely, but not impossible. Look for sharply doubled letters in Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. If your 1958 D penny has any signs of doubling, don't spend it. Get it checked by PCGS or NGC immediately. From a common pocket coin to a $1.7 million collector's item, the story of the 1958 D wheat penny is a perfect example of why numismatics is so fascinating.